to your peers' question. Let's see a dynamic discussion generated here. For your course score, you can click on Course Score on the sidebar to check your grades for that course, or you can go to your profile for grades to see all of your scores. Students who fulfill the course with passing grades can receive a course certificate. Go to Download Certificate by clicking your profile icon. Note the certificate is only for confirming that you have taken the course and received a passing grade. It cannot be used as a substitute or waiver to actual course requirement from a specific university or departmental program. All right, you're all set now. Enjoy your learning.
Selamat pagi, Bu Siti Nuzulia.
Pagi Pak Kus.
Selamat.
Terima kasih. Pripun kabarnya? Sehat ya Pak?
Ketok lise calon guru besar ini.
Amin.
Nah, aku ketok wis empuh pasrah wis. Wis tua wis.
Saya kemarin jalan-jalan ke daerahnya Panjenengan loh Pak.
Daerah mana? Palir.
Rumahnya jenengan itu loh.
Masjid kapal.
Iya, tapi lupa rumahnya Pak Kus yang mana.
Aku udah pindah di Balai Nirvana.
Oh.
Di Balai Nirvana malah lebih sini lebih
pakai headset kali ya.
Lebih dekat Jalan Raya Gondorio. Dekat sama Jalan Raya Gondorio itu yang ke Palir. Jadi saya belum sampai masuk hutan. Udah nggak jadi Tarsan lagi saya.
Oke Pak. Untung nggak jadi ngetok pintunya ya Pak.
Acaranya apa dulu ke Palir?
Dulu kan nengokin Pak Kus sama
kemarin katanya ke Palir lagi.
Ya kapan-kapan.
Enggak, kemarin katanya ke Palir lagi.
Iya, kemarin jalan-jalan aja sih.
Ke Masjid Kapal apa kemana?
Cuman pengen muter-muter daerah situ.
Rumah murah mau enggak? Di Palir, rumahnya besar.
Oh, saya udah punya rumah Pak.
Ya, untuk invest toh, itu punya Bu Tri Murtiningsih itu loh, pensiunan dosen PGSD.
Duitnya nggak ada.
Jalur emang 400 toh, 400 juta. Cash. Pajak-pajaknya pokoknya kabeh go nanggung dan ini nyaluk. Tapi iso ditawar saya. Putri Murti itu loh, pensiunan itu loh. Dulu
tahu saya.
Mertuanya Mas siapa itu yang dosen bahasa Inggris. Mas Arif, mantan mertuanya. Aku saya neng Balai Nirvana Mbak, neng gone Kualani P1, Taman Kualani.
Iya.
Nah, atau kapan-kapan.
Iya Pak, kapan-kapan main Pak.
Ini sama Bu Eko nanti, yang ini.
Ada Bu Eko, ada Pak Farid.
Pak Gio juga, Pak Gio ikut. Pak mungkin. Ya. Yang profesor kita yang sudah Pak Gio aja. Oh iya. Selamat ya. Nanti kemarin untuk piagam dari kementerian barang ya. Saya dengar-dengar gitu ya.
Ya, alhamdulillah Pak.
Untuk pinterin ngono iki lho. Pinterin. Ya wis lah, ndadan untuk jalan.
Iya Pak.
Untuk kemaslahatan orang banyak ya. Sampai ndongak ke sing nom-nom ben. Semoga.
Nggih Pak, matur suwun Pak Kus.
Kapan mulainya ini kok belum ya? Mulai.
Miss AM?
Selamat Bu Eko. Hebat Bu Eko.
Mbak Vina suruh menyampaikan, Bang.
Ya.
Oh, sebentar. Mbak Vina,
Ya, Pak Farid.
mungkin bisa dicuap-cuap dulu. Ini kita sedang nunggu yang dari Taiwan join.
Oke. Selamat pagi Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Welcome to the visiting professor. In today's agenda, we took the theme about the implementation of e-learning in Indonesia and Taiwan, and we have 300 participants in Zoom, and also we live in
299.
yeah, we have wow. Before that, let me say hi to all the participants first, yeah, because we're still waiting for Professor Gary to join with us. Okay, we have, welcome, Dr. Barokah Isdaryanti. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Mbak
thank you for
Elvin.
your coming.
Selamat pagi, Bapak Ibu.
Selamat pagi, Ibu. We also, Mr. Naim Muslihur Rahma. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mrs. Eko Purwanti. Good morning, Dr. Eko. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. How is your condition, ma'am? Healthy as always, yeah.
Devina,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, maybe I will give some information to participants related to this agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, this agenda is output, yeah, of international research, and then actually we do. Our faculty do collaboration with National Chungcheong University in implementation of MOOC. So about 400 of our students join with MOOC program in National Chungcheong University in 3 courses: psychology, general psychology, development psychology, and then counseling psychology. So I really hope that this agenda is improve our understanding related to e-learning, that very common, ya, sangat umum dilaksanakan pada zaman online ini seperti itu. Jadi this agenda, the purpose of this agenda also to strengthen our collaboration between Faculty of Education, Universitas Negeri Semarang, and also National Chungcheong University.
Oh, okay.
Good morning,
Hello.
Professor Gary. How are you today?
Good. I'm sorry I'm running a little bit late. And then I see the meeting is full. I cannot quite join you. So I'm in right now, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, very clear. Thank you.
Okay,
Shall we
thank you.
start? All fine?
Okay, ma'am.
Let's see within my session.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Visiting Professor with the theme, the implementation of e-learning in Indonesia and Taiwan. And actually, this Visiting Professor held by Faculty of Education as the joint research output between Faculty of Education Universitas Negeri Semarang and National Chongqing University, Taiwan. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Excellency all professors and doctors in Faculty of Education Universitas Negeri Semarang, the excellency speakers in today's event, and all lecturers and students and participants that have been joined in Zoom and YouTube. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us guidance, happiness, and healthy so we can attain and participate in this visiting professor, and praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who had brought us to the path of light from the darkness in this life. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the following agenda, please allow me to read the following rules for this visiting professor. The rules for this visiting professor is all participants have to fill the attendance form by clicking the link in the chat box, and the participant ID should be written with complete name. The third is participants should turn the camera on and stay muted during the visiting professor program, and you can raise hand or speak if the moderator allows you. And a certificate will be given to the participant who already submit the attendance form. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin this event by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And we move to the first agenda is the welcoming speech from the committee to Mrs. A.M. Munawaroh MPD. The place is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thanks to Allah who always given us blessing, especially during this activity. And then the honorable speakers, especially Professor Gersi, thank you for joining with us today between your busy agenda. Yeah, and then another speakers, Bapak Farid Ahmadi PhD, and also as a Vice Dean, Academic Vice Dean of Faculty of Education, Ibu Ibu Siti Nuzulia PhD, dan Ibu Dr. Eko Purwanti MPD, and all the participants of this visiting professor. Most of them maybe is OOC participant. I asked them to join to meet directly with Professor Gary, who always give you email related to MOOC program. It will be really nice to see him in person, yeah. And then as informed by our Master of Ceremony that this program, visiting professor, is the output of our collaboration research related to MOOC development between Faculty of Education and Chongqing National University. So, and then as your information, this semester our student joined with MOOC conducted by Chongqing National University in 3 courses. Yeah? One of them is counseling psychology. And I really hope this program will improve our in learning independent, yeah, in online learning. And then as for information that this program followed by 400 students and then lectures, especially from Faculty of Education. I really hope that this visiting professor, I mean, you get insight from this activity, yeah, especially related to implementation of e-learning in Taiwan and in Indonesia. Besides that, you also will get the new insights related to psychology trait, and then pedagogical practice in e-learning. Okay, thank you. Have fun for all participants to enjoy the material from the speakers. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mrs. AM, as the head of the committee. And for information for today's agenda, actually we will have two sessions. The first session is with Professor Gary, and the second session is the parallel session with the doctors, professor and doctors from Indonesia, like that. For the first agenda, we have the first session with Professor Gary from National Chungcheong University. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Before we start, with all due my respect, I would like to share your curriculum vitae first.
Okay. My PowerPoint, right?
No. It's come from us, sir. We have prepared it. Okay.
So should I show my PowerPoint now?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This is the curriculum vitae of Professor Gary. Professor Gary is a professor in Department of Psychology in National Chungcheong University, Taiwan, and Director Center for Research and PhD Program in Cognitive Science, National Chungcheong University, Taiwan. He has many professional experiences, like becoming the research and teaching assistant and become the professor in National Chungcheong University. He has many publications. The new one is about the effect of exposure frequency and pulse variation on learning 3D phases, a comparison between viewpoint and interpolation and extrapolation in Taiwan. He can be contacted in telephone and email by cvc@gmail.com. That is the curriculum vitae of Professor Gary Chanwensi.
Thank you.
Okay, Professor.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, you have 30 minutes, sir, for present your presentation, and then we will make the direct Q&A with only you. Okay. So, Professor Gary, the time is yours.
Okay. Thank you. So how do I do this? Just show my PowerPoint. Where is it? 这里。This one. And I should choose this, right? Okay. Can you all see my PowerPoint? Hello?
Sir, we can see that.
Okay, good. All right. Okay. So, thank you very much for the invitation and for the very nice introduction of my CV. So today, I guess I'm going to talk about actually some of my own experience about regarding implementing e-learning in Taiwan. As you all, mostly I'll concentrate on the CCU experience, that is the National Chungcheong University experience. And actually, I like to divide my talk into two parts. And part one, I'm gonna say a little bit in some general terms about how we develop e-learning, and especially the MOOC courses at CCU over almost 20 years ago. And then in part two, I'm gonna say a few more things about my own experience involved in developing or engaging in e-learning at CCU, and especially more recently developing the MOOC course. So here's the part one, the MOOC development at CCU. So this is really sort of our vision for MOOC CCU, MOOC at CCU. Of course, these days we're now in the 21st century. We have all these technology. So lifelong learning has become not only just ideal, but also a real practical goal that people can achieve over their lifetime. So, and then we like to using the technology provided by books and also other technology to connect with the world, as we have been doing in collaboration with UNES, and pass down the legacy. So we want to have a platform and a program that's really sustainable so that we can continue the operation even many years from now. And finally, the innovation and excellence in teaching. I think as we can foresee, in the next 10, 20, even 30 years, we'll see some fundamental changes of education, the way we deliver educational materials, pedagogical skills, and so on and so forth. So again, we're going to bring in many of the innovation and in technology, and we hope to promote excellence in teaching. So this is really sort of a timeline of how we come to this point. How can I get rid of this one? 拿掉这个东西. Yeah. No, should I just say 没有办法拿掉嘛？上面这一排东西。All right. So this gives you some sense about how we come about at this point. So it really started in 1996. Okay, you know, this whole enterprise of developing the e-learning in Taiwan, we have to say the government, especially the Ministry of Education in our government, has played a very crucial, important role. So unlike, say, in the US, you can see this e-learning mostly relied upon the private industry. But in Taiwan, I suppose in other countries as well, probably the government also play a very essential role. So over the years, CCU has been sort of supported, not only just the CCU, but also many other universities as well, are supported by the various kind of project from the Ministry of Education. So we start out in about 1996, it's almost 15, 16 years from ago. And then 2 years later, I think we established the first asynchronous online learning platform. At that time, we called it Cyber CCU, using the technology that was available at that point. And then moving along, we have been supporting. And also, it's very important to note that in 2004, CCU actually established a digital learning center where Professor Bao Da You is the director for the center ever since. So we mostly have been collaborating with him and his team, to develop e-learning and MOOC courses at CCU. Okay. So, and the most recently in 2019, we again were supported by the Ministry of Education, and this is the ongoing project is probably going to end it next year, sometime next year. We're expecting to have a continuing project after that, and it is within this project we are supported to construct this a series of courses. Like the ones that we're now collaborating with the Samarang at the moment, the series on interpersonal relationship and social interaction. So this really just give you a sort of the administrative supporting system and infrastructure at CCU. So starting from the Office of Academic Affairs, we have several learning centers and also many of the departments, and they all sort of pull together all the resources at our university to support those e-learning activities on our campus. So, what? Hello? Huh? Okay, so this really just give you, this is a sort of a snapshot. This is a collection, many of the courses that we have, the colleagues at CCU have developed over the years. As you can see, the upper right corner is it looks like a face, and this is actually I'm going to talk about in the later part. This is how we can know people from their faces. Also, one of my course of my specialty, and we also have professors from the College of Law to talk about the international human rights, and we also have courses on how to delay the aging process, and also about the economics, daily life, and deep learning. So, and also it's very interesting that we also have professor from the Graduate Institute of Linguistics who is an expert on Indonesian language. So, and he actually developed MOOC course of teaching the Bahasa Indian language to the student in Taiwan. Okay, so these are just a sample of all those courses that we have in the past, and this is again is somewhat overlap with what I just showed earlier, and this is the period I just mentioned, starting in 2019 and will end next year. This is where we try to develop a series of courses based on the idea of the projects funded by the Ministry of Education. This is the one that we are doing and then have been collaborating with you at the moment. So this is the series 2 on the main theme. The main theme is interpersonal relationship and social psychology. So we actually put 3 courses. That's general psychology, which was taught by me, to give an overview of some important topics in psychology related to interpersonal relationship and social interaction. And then we have developmental psychology, and then we have the theories of counseling and psychotherapy. And probably some of you already know, if you're participating in this UNES and CCU MOOC program, both the general psychology and developmental psychology were online on October 25th, about 2-3 weeks ago. And today, November 8th, the third course, theory in counseling and psychotherapy, is also online. So all the students are very much welcome to participating in this third course on counseling as well. So we have developed these courses as a sort of the core and the basic, so that we are in the hope that they can also be applied to some more advanced courses, such as psychology personality, psychology emotion, social psychology, and so on and so forth. And that has been actually be implemented because we talked to our colleagues who are teaching all these other more advanced courses, and they have taken 1 semester or 2 semesters of the courses that we developed as a way to enhance students' understanding of some basic topics. This is just one note. This is on the general psychology course. 95% of students consider the design of the course can enhance motivation and it's helpful for their learning. And almost all of them indicate their interest in taking more future courses. So this is sort of just a highlighted mechanism developing the MOOC course at CCU. So we have the infrastructure, and then we need to engage our colleague to create the content for the courses, and they go through the process of production, evaluation, and the actual operation. And then we'll have to take care of some of the problems generated by these challenges. Okay. All right. This is again just to show you many of the offices or centers that are involved in creating the content for the MOOC course. So it's really actually quite important. The director for this whole project is actually the vice president of the university. So so that we need to have a we need someone from the high level management, so that he can help to coordinate various divisions and offices on the campus to provide the resources that we need to promote the MOOC courses on campus. So this is really just to show sort of a standard SOP. You have the infrastructure mechanism, and then you can produce the course, evaluate the course, and put them in operation as well. And so in the first stage, producing the course, we need to design the course content. We have to actually shot or take videotaping all this course content based on the script, and at the actual shooting, and then post-production is also very crucial, because if you ever engage in creating some video, then you know that you need to not everything that you shoot you want, and then you have to have post-production to edit it so that the product is really in a way that's more desirable, more ideal. And once we have created the course material, we have to go through the process of evaluating. So we have to make sure to get rid of the errors, to modify the content whenever necessary. And also, oftentimes we will seek out advices and suggestions from outside experts to improve and make sure the content is correct, and how we can also improve the course that we created. And then finally, it's the operations stage. So you have to using or take advantage of some of the platforms that are very popular in Taiwan, and make them as the operation platform. Okay, so that's the three basic stages for creating the MOOC course and have it operated. Okay, so again, making the courses, evaluation, and then the operation. So this just to highlight, you always need a team, as I mentioned already. The professors who can provide the content is, of course, played a very crucial role to generate the course material. But in addition, you also need experts who can actually help you to create the multimedia presentation of the course material, so that the course material is much more attractive to the younger generation student. And also, in the process, you need a very good TA, the teaching assistants. Okay, so that's also very crucial when you try to operate, when you have the courses on the platform and how to operate and manage it. Okay? So there, you really need a very highly capable and efficient teaching assistant to help you to do that. Otherwise, it will consume too much time for the professors. Okay, I should also mention this person here. Yeah, I apologize, this is all in Chinese, but just to let you know, this is the IP Act. Okay, this is the Intellectual Property Act. It's actually a law professor from the College of Law on our campus. So he can provide all this legal consultation to make sure, because when we try to create the course material, we try to draw upon all kinds of resources that's available to us. But some of them are, you can use them without infringing on the IP. But the others, you have to be really careful, and you have to get the permission of the original owner or the sources that own the IP. So otherwise, you may have to recreate the content yourself rather than using some existing material or resources that you can get from online. Okay, so the IP is a very crucial aspect in the entire process of creating the course material. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, so this is really just to show you or highlighting the teamwork behind creating the coursework. Okay, so we have the lecturer, that's mostly the professors provide the content, and course designer, the IP expert, and finally the outside campus consultant, and provide the feedback just to make sure our material are all correct, and then can also provide suggestions for improvement. These are just some of the snapshot of the courses that have been created over the last few years. On the right-hand side, this is Professor Baodai Yo. Professor Yo, he himself is a computer science professor, so he is expert in deep learning. This is a Professor Victoria Rao. She's I mentioned earlier, she's a professor from the Graduate Institute of Linguistics, and she's actually tried to teach. She's an expert in the Bahasa Indonesian language. So she's created courses of teaching students on our campus about the Indonesian language. This is just to show you that we also try to use very different ways to try to convey or create the course content. So we have dialogical teaching. So the previous slide just show you is a more sort of a traditional lecture type of teaching. But in addition, we have this dialogue teaching. So on the left again, you see Professor Victoria engage her student. I think they're her TAs actually. They are both from Indonesia, very good. So they try to set up a more interesting, sort of a dialogue or conversation among the three to teach the Indonesian language. On the right, this is Professor Lin from the Criminology Department. So this is really talking about how it's kind of like a sex education, the mental health and the communication skill, how you can build that between the different genders. This is again, Professor Yo on the left is showing you can use this electronic whiteboard, and he can actually not only just show you the basic ideas of a neural network, I think that he's trying to teach the student, but also he can write on this whiteboard, to elaborate on the point you want to emphasize. And again, we also have situational drama. This is creating the videos like performing a short. It's almost like a mini movie kind of thing. Okay, so that we can highlight some of the point from the course. And this turned out to be a very sort of popular ways, especially to attract the younger student, the student of the younger generation, to participate in the course. So this is again what I mentioned already. That is, once you have the course material, you need the evaluation, and these are. Oh, so this is okay, good. So we can have expert to help us to evaluate the course material, and we can put them through a trial run, and also to verify the accuracy of the course material. And after the operation, we can also give questionnaires or ways to survey the students' opinions about courses, and to see which part they like, which part they don't like, or they may have insight about how the course can be further improved in the next edition of the course. So this is how our courses into use on our campus and also outside the campus. So some of the courses can be incorporated as a part of the credit for some credit course. So they can a student go through this MOOC course as a way to partially fulfill requirement for other courses, or they can be, for instance, in our series 2, we actually put the 3 courses together, and doing that, it can be a standalone course by itself. Okay, so that's where you can create the credit course that way. Also, the example just mentioned is very much part of the general education on our campus and also on many other campuses throughout Taiwan. So in Taiwan, there's a consortium. Okay, it's like a group among the universities, so they can sort of exchange their own courses. So we're not just using the courses we develop on our own campus, but also to other campuses as well. And then there's of course the online MOOC, so that's open to sort of the general public and for self-learning as well. And most recently, I heard from my colleague in the team saying that they have put the content, the auditory part, the voice into the podcast, and that's going to be quite popular as well. And then of course, this is what we're doing right now. We're trying to make them an international promotion course. We actually also, CCU has built its own YouTube channel. Okay, so this is a CCU MOOC. Yeah, for some reason the title will disappear. But if you link to the YouTube and type in CCU MOOC, you can find all the courses that we have. Right here, that we developed in the past, and this is just a snapshot of how we run those courses. And some of the most popular courses on our YouTube channel, including mathematical logic, deep learning. Here is counseling and psychotherapy that your students are having it online today. The wisdom of I Ching. I Ching is actually a very ancient text, so we're trying to how we can use that to predict life situation and how to cope with all kinds of difficulty. It's a sort of a very ancient Chinese philosophy piece. Okay, and then of course the general psychology. So and this is a screenshot of this podcast that I mentioned earlier. So we now can put the content onto the Apple Podcast, Spotify. There's I think most of you probably know, it's a very popular podcast platform, and the KKBox as well. So, okay, so that sort of conclude my first part of introducing the background for our CCU development. And now let me shift to my own part. Okay. So really, I'd like to share with you some of my experience from classroom to cloud, the challenge of MOOCs. So, I'm going to start from the beginning and then mention, because I'm a little bit short on time, just very briefly about the 4 courses that I have developed over the years, and then say a few things as a conclusion. So I actually, even before we are sort of formally promoting the digital learning, I have been recording all my course material whenever I give lectures. So for my courses on psychology perception and the laboratory of perception psychology, that's where really my expertise lies. And then that can provide all this review opportunity for the student after class, or say they want to go to graduate school, they want to take the exam, they can also come to me and then review the all this content for the perception class. So starting in 2008, about 13, 14 years ago, with Professor Yod again and his team. So I first create a all English psychology perception class, MOOC course. Well, I wouldn't say it's MOOC yet, but it's a e-learning or digital learning course. And this was given the official certification from the Ministry of Education in 2010. And this is and then I use this course as a way to offer a all English long distance class between the year 2012 and 2014 for a period of 3 years. So these are just snapshots of that course. It's actually quite fun, you know. It's very interesting, but probably I have don't have the time to go into detail. But just to let you know, that's my first sort of e-learning course, and it's using the Cyber CCU, and we have all kinds. But that's mostly using the PowerPoint, like we're doing right now, and you have no picture of the instructor. Okay, so and then we have a variety of ways to evaluate student performance. And my second sort of a more MOOC-like MOOC style course is the vision science. Okay, so that's sort of a more advanced course for the perception course I just mentioned. So how we can see the world, the eyes, brain, and vision. So this is the more MOOC-like MOOC style digital course. And again, now in this course, we start actually taking the video for the professor who is giving the lecture. Okay, and then in addition, we also add PowerPoint whenever it's so to go with the lecture during the video. And I wonder if I can show you this, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. New login in. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but this is a kind of a logo. Come down. Oh, I'm sorry. So what should I do then? Oh, okay. That's okay. Let me run over. All right. So yeah, maybe I can show you later if you're interested. So this is some of the snapshot of the platform of Taiwan Life. That's also the same platform that we're using for this series interpersonal relationship and social interactions. Okay, and the Taiwan Life is actually a e-learning platform of the Open University in Taiwan, and the Open University in Taiwan has a long history of providing lifelong learning. So of course they in the recent year they have taken advantage of the technology and created a platform to offer people many of the digital learning courses on their platform. So these just give you a list of all these popular platforms in Taiwan and also in China that can offer MOOC courses. Okay. So this is a chat room screenshot from the MOOC course platform from China. My third course is the knowing people from their faces. That's the face processing and recognition course. And I have to say, compared to my business science course, this is a much more successfully managed course because the content of the course is much more accessible to the students. And we try very hard in many ways to try to make the course much more interesting than, say, the vision science course. The vision science course is much more sort of hardcore and heavy-duty course. Unless you're really into the field, it takes quite a bit of challenge to stay in that course. Okay? Okay, so this is just the content of this face processing course. We talk about the nature of face processing, research and method, how we process facial expression, the brain mechanism, the development of face recognition ability, and some of the deficit and difficulty in face recognition. So again, in this course, we also have a chance to interview with professors from the law school, so to talk about the intellectual properties involved in creating the MOOC course on face processing. We also interviewed two other colleagues who are expert in brain imaging and also the perceptual development in young children to talk about aspects related to face processing. Okay. This is just to show you that we actually incorporate some of the experiment into this course material. Okay, so I think I'm really running out of time. Again, this is just some snapshot of the how we interact with the students, and the TA help out quite a bit to answer the question that they pose on the platform. And in many times, I actually myself have to join in. So you can see there are posts that I try to provide to respond to students' comment. And very likely I'm going to do that this week as well in the course that we're doing with the unit. So this is a very good way to help the student to become even more motivated to take part in these MOOC courses. Okay? And this is a really very interesting one where some of the students taking the course again really motivated and provide their own very knowledgeable about how we can do the survey related to face processing. Okay, so okay, this is a summary statistics for the 3 times that we offer the course. We have altogether 76 people taking the course, and over 7,000 times are viewing the course. These are just some of the stats, how they interact with the platform. Okay, so just to conclude, I think especially with respect to this face processing course, I think the content is much more accessible. Then we try to make it more interesting to motivate the student. And also because the subject matter is really related to their daily life experience. So many times, many occasions, they can share their own experience that help to really motivate people to participate in the course. And we also try to have some actual practice on the scientific research, okay? So that they know they're not just listening to something interesting, but I also know that there's a research behind all these very interesting findings. And most of the material regarded to with respect to face processing are developed here in Taiwan. Okay, so we have the indigenous resource and the research, so we can really connect the course content with the research. And we have the TA actively participating in the chat room, which is very important. And also every now and then, the instructor should get involved in exchanging ideas or provide feedback to the students. And finally, I should thank, we have this fantastic technical team and a very robust CCU infrastructure to support our MOOC courses. Okay, I'm sorry running over time, so thank you for your listening. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, it's okay, sir, if you have something to say. We don't really matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I suppose we can open up for question and Q&A. Yes, if any of your colleague or student or they have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Yep.
Okay, sir, thank you very much for your presentation. It's about the MOC in Taiwan. Actually, we have several questions that we have been collected. The first one is from Mrs. Budiati. She from Universitas Ngudi Waluyo. Is Mrs. Budiati in here? Okay, so I would like to read her question, sir. It's about how to make sure that our student already masters the material stuff through e-learning, especially in your MOOC. And actually, we know that there are several platforms that are available freely, and how we could and how they choose the learning in your system. That is the question from Mrs. Budiati. Maybe one by one is okay, yes, sir?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was. Can you somewhat repeat the question again?
Okay, the question is how to make sure that the students already master the material stuff through e-learning, especially in the competencies, sir. I think this her question is about the learning output, how we can make sure that they already graduated or pass the competencies that they have to have.
Right. Well, when we create the MOOC course, it's how we evaluate students' performance or assess student performance is also a very important part, right? So I guess there are several ways to do that. For instance, in my earlier course in the psychology of perception, I actually every short segment. So if I give a lecture on a certain topic, after a while, I'll probably give a few pop quizzes. Okay, so very quickly to make sure they understand all the content that we've been covered at this point. Okay, and in addition, I guess there's a more common way is to give like the one that we have right now in this interpersonal relationship series, that at the end of each of the unit, right, we will give it's like a standard multiple choice kind of question to the student. And so the student have to pass all these tests to a satisfactory degree to make sure it's just like it's like a e-learning version of the traditional paper and pencil test. So that's something we can do too. Additionally, I think, these days we all emphasize multiple assessments. So we should not just rely upon one way of assessment or evaluation. So we also give our assignment. For instance, we will give them some question for discussion, and so that the student have an opportunity to express their ideas on certain topic, all related to the content of the course, right? And then we see how they respond. And then you get I suppose you get a better sense from there, how much they have actually acquired or learned from the course material. So in summary, I think we should try to use multiple ways to assess students' understanding. So not only the traditional, so multiple choice, you can also give other assignment, and also give assignment for discussion and to elicit answers from them, so that you have a better idea about how much they learn. Yeah, so that's how we do it. According to our experience. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Gary, for the answer. And actually, sir, I quite suspicious, especially about the learning output or outcome that related to the affective sides of the students, because we know that the differences between the learning and in immediate learning is that they are connection bonding between the maybe the lecturer or the teacher with the students. How
Right.
how we can make the solution in the MOOC itself, sir, to not reducing like the feeling of the respects feeling, the respects value, or something related to the psychological things.
So let me see if I understand your question clearly. So you're trying to, I guess you're asking about, especially with respect to psychology, it's very important that you have some direct contact or is discussion with the faculty, with the professor. Yeah, I guess that's always a kind of a challenge, for e-learning, because you sort of you gain some, but you lose some as well. I guess if it really, I guess there are several considerations here. I may not be the best person to answer this question. So, for instance, if the content is much more basic, okay, then if it does not require a very sort of a intense discussion between the professor and student, then you can probably that'll be the more optimal if you use the e-learning, digital learning kind of thing. But on the other hand, but I still think even with the e-learning platform, even though we're not, doing the face-to-face interaction, but still, I suppose, given the technology right now, it's not really that. I don't know. My own feeling is that it's actually not too bad, even using this long, this e-learning platform to have some in-depth discussion as well. So, for instance, from what I heard from my colleague in the counseling psychology, these days they even do this what they call the e-counseling. Okay, so I suppose now we are in a different period of time where people are more and more used to the fact that you don't necessarily you can engage a very intimate, in-depth discussion with someone else, even you are not face to face. So my guess is this will become a much more acceptable way of interaction in the future. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Gary. So we focus on the competence itself, yeah. And maybe for the other participant who have the question to Professor Gary, you can just raise your hand, and after that we will allow you to speak up, or maybe you can write down your question in the chat box column. Is there anyone who want to become the live question? Actually, we also live in YouTube, sir. And maybe let me read you the question that already had in the YouTube.
This one?
Okay. Actually, there are questions from Najmatria Octaviani. And the question is... Actually, this is the question from Muhammad Febrianto. He asked that, is it possible for Indonesian students to attend Taiwan universities and join the courses?
Okay, sure. I think, yeah, generally speaking, many universities in Taiwan very much welcome international students, including students from Indonesia, to study in their institution. Yeah, I guess what you need to look for if you're interested in, say, coming to Taiwan for your, say, master's degree or even a PhD degree. For instance, I'm also the director for the PhD program in cognitive science at our university, and it's a all English program. So I guess that's something you have to consider. If because it's not, while many of the university have master program or PhD program welcoming the international student to study. It's not always the case. Not always the case that all the curriculum or the courses are conducted in English. So this is something you have to take into account. Okay. But for instance, in CCU, we have about 5 or 6 programs, okay, throughout the social sciences and economics and management and also education and also in engineering, okay. So in each of these colleges, okay, you have one major all English program. So you can always go into the website of the university and look it up to find out this all English program. So if the students are really interested in, say, coming to CCU, we are very welcome you to come. And depending on what field you try to study, maybe you can write to me and I can forward the message to the Office of International Affairs, because that's the window they will allow the international student to apply to the various program on our campus. But I guess as a student, you yourself, you have to consider if, because again, like I said, not all programs are conducted. The courses of the program are conducted in English, so you really have to look for and the program that has a if not all the courses, but at least a majority of the courses conducted in English. Otherwise, you have to really train up your own Chinese or Mandarin capability, because most of the courses are in, say, on our campus and also in other universities as well. The majority of the courses, of course, are conducted in Chinese or Mandarin. Okay? But then there are programs that are all English program, and you should look for that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, and that is the answer for Mr. Muhammad Febrianto. I think he have motivation to join.
Very good. Is he a psychology student or from other department?
He from science education, sir.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, we have actually, I think, yeah, in the College of Education at CCU, they have both a master program and a PhD program. I think what they call is educational leadership and management. Yeah, it's a very popular program. Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah, so I would encourage him to apply to think about it. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. So I can conclude that maybe nearly in the future there will be campus with no students, maybe, sir, because maybe in the future we talk about maybe, because from this point of view, like there are many changes and different in learning process. Maybe
yes.
there are college with no student because the student all in online. Is that even possible, sir?
Right. Yeah, actually. Several years ago, there's a comment from the president of the MIT, the very famous Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the United States. So he's sort of predicting maybe maybe not in the very near future, but maybe 10 or 20 years down the road, you can see, because if you think about it, it's really the throughout the human history that we develop the school system and to the university to the point that we now have. But the university is really huge investment in terms of land, buildings, infrastructure.
Definitely.
But these huge investment may not become necessary in the future. You can imagine the day where the student really, don't have to go to big buildings or big classroom in order to obtain their education. So that day may come. May not be very soon, but definitely this is a kind of a vision that, if I may, I can share with you. We used to have a student from New Zealand. Okay.
Oh, really?
Also, yeah, from the these are the visiting students, and they have the actually engineering background, somehow related to the computer science about some of the research that we're doing. So they mentioned, which also really surprised me. They're from the best university, the University of Auckland, in New Zealand, one of the very top university in New Zealand, and they say their professors, especially in the Department of Engineering, are all obligated to videotape their own lectures and put them online. And to the point, the student do not have to come to the classroom. Okay. And the student only have to pick up the video, at their own time later on to make sure they learn the stuff. So, this is a kind of like, one day the campus may disappear or the classroom may disappear. No need to have this all this big infrastructure for learning anymore. Okay. Of course, it will not totally disappear, but you can imagine maybe there's a day where the campus only maintain the facility for physical education. That I don't think you can really take that away. Right? But other than that, or maybe some laboratory classes, right? So laboratory classes that you still have to execute. You need a space, you need all the material, but you can imagine all these traditional lectures, in the big lecture hall, in the classroom, that can all be replaced with a digital platform. Right? So that day may come, probably sooner than we expect. So we all have to adjust.
Yes. Yeah, because it means that there will be more and more opportunity to maybe like me, maybe come to want to continue my study to the other country that without I have to come because
Right. Actually, I think that can be a possibility in the future too. It's just that we really have to work on it.
Yes.
I have to say, given my experience creating this online learning material, it takes about 3 to 4 times as much effort, right? Because you can imagine, you have to do the recording, do the editing, you have to answer to all this the posts from the student. So it turned to be more work than the traditional kind of teaching. I mean, you yourself probably understand this very well. So some professor may resist that. They think, oh, I'm already very busy. I don't really have the time to do the actual work. So it takes some. I don't know. I mean, in the last couple of years, especially given the pandemic, then we see that's another force sort of pushing to education to transform itself in the years to come.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Gary. Maybe I would like to give the chances to the participant here to ask the live question, or is there anyone who wants to ask to Professor by live? If no, maybe we have to end the first session with Professor Gary. Thank you very much, Professor, for your material about the implementation of e-learning in Taiwan.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're coming in Indonesia, sir.
Oh, yes. Yes. I hope I can visit you soon.
Yeah, see you
Okay.
soon. Maybe we can give big applause to Miss Professor Gary. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and we can continue to the second session. The second session will be delivered by panel presentation and panel discussion. The first one is the first presentation will be delivered by Dr. Farid Ahmadi. He will talk about the implementation of e-learning in Indonesia. And the second presentation will be delivered by Dr. Eko Purwanti, MPD, and about e-learning pedagogical practice. And the third presentation will be delivered by Dr. Siti Nuzulia about personality traits in e-learning scenario. And but before that, I would like to share their curriculum vitae. With all due my respect, I would like to share their curriculum vitae first. The curriculum vitae of Farid Ahmadi, SCOM MCOM PhD. Dr. Farid is a doctor in Department of Primary School Education, Faculty, also the Vice Dean in Academic Affairs, Faculty of Education, UNES. The education of Dr. Farid Ahmadi, he held his bachelor in Universitas Dianuswantoro and continued his doctor in Central Normal China University. Dr. Farid have many publications. The latest one is about the mobile learning media, jarak, waktu, dan kecepatan as a medium to introduce problem solving to the children. He can be contacted by telephone and email in farid@mail.unes.ac.id. That is the curriculum vitae of Farid Ahmadi, MCOM PhD. This is the curriculum vitae of Dr. Eko Purwanti, MPD. Dr. Eko Purwanti, MPD is the doctor in Department of Primary School Education, Faculty of Education, Universitas Negeri Semarang. She also the leader in joint research with Chungcheong University and Faculty of Education, Indonesia. Her education in 2014, she finished her doctoral degree in Education Management, Universitas Negeri Semarang. She also has many publications. The latest one is about learning model of performing arts of dance, bass, and conservation. She can be contacted by telephone and email in purwanti17@mail.unes.ac.id. That is the curriculum vitae of Dr. Eko Purwanti, MPD. Is the curriculum vitae of Dr. Siti Nuzulia. Dr. Siti Nuzulia is a doctor in Department of Psychology, Faculty of Education, Universitas Negeri Semarang. She finished his study as bachelor in University Ahmad Dahlan Yogyakarta and doctoral degree in University of Hull, United Kingdom. She has many publications. The first one is about predicting undergraduates' employability, the proposal, and the relationship between teachers' workplace spirituality and job satisfaction with the perception of transformational leadership as a variable moderator. Dr. Siti Nuzulia can be contacted by email and telephone in nuzulia@mail.unes.ac.id. That is the curriculum vitae of Dr. Siti Nuzulia, MSc. Okay, that is the curriculum vitae of all speakers in the second session. And for the first presentation will be delivered by Dr. Eko Purwanti, MPD. Dr. Eko, have you been joined with us, ma'am?
Nanti lagi, Kak. Baik, terima kasih, Mbak Vina.
Pagi, Ibu.
Apakah cukup jelas suaranya dengan pakai masker begini?
cukup jelas, Ibu.
Baik, terima kasih.
Mohon izin mengingatkan waktunya sekitar 15 menit, Ibu.
Oh, 15 menit. Baik, terima
15
kasih.
30 menit, Ibu. Baik, terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Terima kasih, Mbak Vina, waktu yang diberikan. Seluruh hadirin yang sangat kami hormati. Saya memandang bahwa e-learning dalam hal ini adalah MOOC itu bisa dibedah melalui perkembangan teknologi pedagogical content knowledge di era abad 21. Lanjut. Ya, beberapa hal akan disampaikan berikut ini. Lanjut. Ya. Saudara semuanya, bahwa terjadi transformasi pendidikan kaitannya dengan era 4.0 dan 5.0 ini, kita bisa melihat bagaimana kondisi pendidikan kita dan perkembangan zaman itu sangat berbeda, sehingga kondisi pada saat itu dengan kondisi terkini. Nah, pada slide ini bisa atau memberikan bantuan pada saya khususnya atau kita pada umumnya, bahwa pembelajaran yang seperti ini itu tidak enjoy lagi. Tidak enjoy lagi, artinya adalah bahwa tidak ada rasa senang di dalam pembelajaran. Adanya adalah dalam segi-segi tertekan, kemudian terjadi kerisauan, dan di sana juga akan terjadi hal-hal yang terkait dengan kerisauan dengan kaitannya dengan bagaimana guru itu menyampaikan pembelajaran. Nah, pada era sekarang, kaitannya dengan era teknologi informasi ini, 4.0 dan 5.0 ini, enjoy-lah kita belajar itu. Enjoy dalam segi tertentu, dan di sana akan terjadi pola pembelajaran atau pola belajar yang sifatnya individual, enjoy, dan itu dapat dilakukan dengan kemampuan sendiri sesuai dengan kondisi real sendiri. Berikutnya adalah terkait dengan ini adalah apa yang disampaikan di depan itu, kita bisa melihat tentang bagaimana peta kompetensi keterampilan di abad 21. Nah, di dalam kesempatan ini ada 6C, ya. Ada 6 hal kompetensi. Di sana ada creativity, thinking and innovation. Kemudian di sana ada unsur-unsurnya, gitu. Dan ada critical thinking and problem solving. Kemudian ada communication dan kolaborasi, computational logic, composition and civic, dan responsibility. Nah, aspek-aspek ini bisa kita lihat, bisa kita teliti terkait dengan hal-hal terkait dengan 6C itu, ya. Jadi ada creativity, critical, communication, competition, dan compassion. Kemudian di samping itu ada informasi, media, dan teknologi skill. Nah, di sini adalah inti daripada e-learning. Dan di dalam e-learning ini memang kegiatan-kegiatan yang harus dilakukan adalah dari aspek mengakses, mengevaluasi informasi. Nah, kemandirian ini dilakukan, kemudian bagaimana menggunakan dan menata informasi, menganalisis, kemudian melakukan berbagi secara efektif. Nah, maksudnya adalah bahwa aspek-aspek ini Ini bisa sebagai, karena di depan kami ini adalah peneliti-peneliti, baik itu peneliti di jenjang S1 maupun S2, ini bisa menjadi indikator-indikator yang kaitannya dengan pembelajaran abad 21. Kemudian yang berikutnya adalah e-learning. E-learning ini adalah merupakan media pembelajaran yang terintegrasi dan yang digunakan dalam proses pembelajaran untuk menyampaikan informasi, komunikasi dengan sarana pendukung komputer dengan jaringan internet. Beberapa hal kami tuliskan sumber-sumber di sini, maksudnya adalah monggo ini nanti akan di-share kepada peserta dan peserta mendapatkan kemudahan, paling tidak kemudahan di dalam mengeksplorasi pustaka-pustaka apa yang bisa digunakan untuk kesempatan ini. Berikutnya. Sidanya lama ya? Ya. Ini dari sumber Little John ini, bahwa prinsip daripada e-learning adalah personalisasi sesuai kebutuhan dan minat. Jadi belajar dengan menggunakan elektronik ini adalah lebih pada bagaimana sesuai dengan kebutuhan dan minatnya. Pada saat tertentu misalnya, ini adalah sesuai kebutuhan dan minat. Pada saat tertentu misalnya, sekarang kalau kita akan membuat suatu karya ilmiah, misalnya harus menggunakan manajer referensi, misalnya Mendeley, kita bisa langsung menelusur, mencari mungkin YouTube ya terkait dengan itu, mencari sumber-sumber yang kompeten tentang itu, ini sangat mungkin untuk bisa ditemukan. Kemudian kaitannya dengan keamanan, kaitannya dengan safety saving data, ini bisa dilakukan dan belajarnya mandiri, serta penggalian aktivitas bisa dilakukan secara personal. Dan mengaplikasi pihak ketiga ini bisa dilakukan jika kita ini misalnya akan melakukan suatu perekaman misalnya atau yang lain, kita bisa lakukan itu dengan pihak-pihak lain. Dan sekarang semuanya sepertinya mengarah kepada YouTuber. Dengan YouTuber itu lalu kita ini menjadi menjadi ingin begitu ya untuk bisa membuat konten-konten itu, dan itu ternyata dimanfaatkan oleh banyak orang. Apalagi kalau mengingat bahwa sebaik-baik manusia itu jika bermanfaat untuk orang lain, ini bisa bekerja sama dengan pihak-pihak lain untuk kegiatan itu. Ya, berikutnya. Ya, jadi seperti apa yang tadi disampaikan tadi, bahwa penggunaan learning itu, ini paling tidak ada 4 hal ini. Ya, 4 hal ini keunggulannya adalah tadi disampaikan fleksibilitas waktu, fleksibilitas tempat, itu ya dapat dilaksanakan dimanapun dan waktunya adalah sesuai dengan kondisi si belajar. Kemudian fleksibilitas kecepatan pembelajarannya dapat menyesuaikan daya serap masing-masing dan bahkan bisa berkolaborasi untuk belajar dengan yang lain, dan materinya adalah bervariasi. Ya, artinya adalah kita bisa sambil membuka sekian window begitu untuk bisa melakukan suatu pembelajaran dalam satu topik misalnya. Ya, berikutnya. Ya. Terkait dengan itu, maka konsep teknologi pedagogik, ya, kemudian content knowledge ini menjadi suatu pendekatan yang bisa dilakukan manakala kita melaksanakan e-learning. Nah, teknologi pedagogical content knowledge ini adalah merupakan satu satuan dari satu satuan. Satu satuan dari mana ini adalah dari teknologi pedagogical knowledge, atau ini adalah merupakan satu kesatuan antara teknologi knowledge dengan pedagogical knowledge. Kemudian kaitannya dengan teknologi content knowledge, ini akan menjadikan suatu content knowledge dan kaitannya dengan pedagogical content knowledge. Nah, itu semua kalau ini adalah disatukan begitu, lalu akan menjadi teknologi pedagogical content knowledge. Dan itu semuanya menjadi lebih lengkap pada saat yang sebelum ini adalah adanya pedagogical content knowledge, dan sekarang adalah adanya unsur-unsur yang lain, ya, unsur yang lain, sehingga akan menjadi technological pedagogical content knowledge ini. Berikutnya, ya baik, dari Pendas Ibu Angelin, ya nanti akan di-share Bu, monggo kalau memang ini dibutuhkan dan mudah-mudahan bermanfaat. Kemudian kaitannya dengan pedagogi content knowledge tadi, bagaimana ini? Ini ada beberapa teori. Ada pedagogi and content knowledge (PCK), kemudian ada teknologi, kemudian ada pedagogi and content knowledge-nya. Ya, ini adalah beberapa kami temukan adalah misalnya menurut Sulman ini ya bahwa pedagogi, kemudian menurut Mirza Fowler ini juga disampaikan bahwa di negara maju ini telah diintegrasikan antara teknologi, pedagogi, dan konten dalam perangkat pembelajaran berbasis TPACK. Ya, nanti pada slide berikutnya akan ada hasil penelitian bagaimana ini kaitannya dengan pembelajaran ini. Nah, pada tabel ini telah dilakukan kategori pengukuran. Nah, di sini adalah terkait dan instrumen penelitian. Misalnya jenis pengukurannya adalah tentang laporan diri. Nah, ini adalah nomor kegunaan ini adalah merupakan coding dari peneliti yang sudah dilakukan. Nah, ini pada laporan diri meminta peserta didik untuk menilai sejauh mana mereka menyetujui pernyataan yang diberikan mengenai penggunaan teknologi dalam pengajaran. Lalu bisa menggunakan kuesioner terbuka, survei yang mendorong peserta untuk memperluas pengalaman mereka dengan teknologi pendidikan, kemudian penilaian kinerja, ini langsung mengevaluasi kinerja pada tugas-tugas tertentu untuk menilai TPACK. Bisa dengan wawancara, ini adalah menyampaikan pertanyaan yang telah ditentukan untuk mengungkap buku tentang TPACK peserta. Nah, lalu bisa juga dengan pengamatan, mengamati peserta di ruang kelas atau pengaturan serupa untuk bukti TPACK. Ini adalah tentang kategori pengukuran dan instrumen yang bisa digunakan yang pernah dilakukan oleh para peneliti. Ya, berikutnya. Ya, jadi sebetulnya dari ketiga hal tadi berawal dari konsep-konsep ini, yaitu dari technological knowledge, pengetahuan tentang berbagai jenis teknologi sebagai alat, sebagai proses, dan sebagai sumber. Nah, kaitannya dengan TPACK itu, ini memang menjadi penting. Siapapun kita yang belajar pada era ini, teknologi knowledge ini lalu menjadi hal yang merupakan sama kebutuhannya bila dibandingkan dengan content knowledge-nya. Sama. tentang pengetahuan materi pelajaran yang dipelajari. Ini kan terus berkembang. Pada saat kita melakukan suatu model pembelajaran tertentu, misalnya problem-based learning, ini kan dibutuhkan teknologi knowledge ini. Dibutuhkan bagaimana kita bisa menemukan problem atau permasalahan yang ada di lapangan terkait dengan topik atau content knowledge-nya. Kan membutuhkan teknologi, di sana sudah sangat tersedia banyak. Boleh berupa video, bisa berupa foto, bisa berupa gambar, gitu ya, dan bisa berupa peristiwa yang ada. Nah, di sana itu dari TPACK itu masih ada satu unsur, yaitu pedagogical knowledge. Jadi pengetahuan tentang proses dan praktek dalam perencanaan. Jadi bagaimana kalau kita ini akan melakukan inovasi pembelajaran dan inovasi belajar misalnya. Nah, ini dibutuhkan suatu kemampuan-kemampuan itu sehingga kita dapat melaksanakan sesuai dengan harapan. Sehingga pedagogical knowledge ini pengetahuan tentang proses dan praktek dalam perencanaan, proses dan evaluasi pembelajaran. Nah, ini ada pada tahun 87 itu pernah disampaikan ada 17 indikator. Jadi bicara tentang pedagogi ini adalah sangat sangat banyak variasinya, dan itu semuanya adalah akan membentuk satu hal, yaitu pembelajaran yang efektif dan belajar yang efektif terutama. Berikutnya. Ya, masih di sana. Jadi TPACK ini adalah muncul dari unsur-unsur ini. Tadi sudah disampaikan. Dan ini hanya sebagai framework ya, frameworknya bahwa TPACK itu harus dari sana. Kita tidak bisa melakukan suatu proses belajar maupun pembelajaran dengan pendekatan TPACK jika kita tidak mendampingi, memunculkan, mengembangkan ya pengetahuan tentang teknologi kontennya, kemudian pedagogi kontennya. Ya, kemudian tentunya adalah kaitannya dengan teknologi pedagogical knowledge-nya. Berikutnya. Ya. Di sini ada beberapa hal yang bisa disampaikan bahwa pendekatan untuk mengembangkan TPACK itu ada beberapa cara yang bisa kita lakukan dari PCK ke TPACK, dari pedagogical ya content knowledge-nya kemudian ke TPACK. Ini bisa dilakukan seperti ini kegiatan-kegiatannya. Guru memanfaatkan pengetahuan konten pedagogisnya yang ada untuk membentuk wawasan tentang teknologi. Mana yang mungkin bekerja dengan baik untuk tujuan pembelajaran tertentu. Ini saya tuliskan beberapa sumber. Ini mudah-mudahan bisa ditelusur dan itu akan menjadi lebih mencerahkan. Kemudian dari TPK ke TPACK. Nah, ini beberapa bisa dilakukan di sini. Dan berikutnya adalah mengembangkan PCK dan TPACK secara serentak. Ini bisa dilakukan. Nah, variasi seperti ini lalu menjadi kalau ini kita kembangkan dalam sebuah penelitian lalu menjadi akan sangat lengkap. Ya, berikutnya. Ya, bagaimana tantangannya? Ya, tantangan mengajar zaman teknologi ini mesti ada stigma rumit. Mesti ada itu. Itu akan pada saat akan melakukan suatu conference saja, ini kita juga kadang dihantui gitu ya. Stigma rumit ini. Bagaimana nanti gitu ya. Padahal pada sebetulnya kegiatan-kegiatan itu permasalahannya adalah kadang kita kurang bisa membuka menu-menu yang ada di situ, kemudian praktek, kemudian latihan. Nah, ini yang perlu dilakukan. Sehingga pada kegiatan Zoom ini kan tidak perlu teriak-teriak gitu. Ada icon-icon yang bisa digunakan, misalnya bagaimana harus raise hand dan sebagainya. Ini menjadi penting. Kemudian ada komunikasi asinkron ya, sinkronus dan asinkronus di situ terjadi. Kemudian ada faktor sosial dan kontekstual. Ya, pemahaman penggunaan teknologi yang konsisten ini ternyata diperlukan. Bagaimana kita melakukan itu sehingga kolaborasi ini akan justru menjadi penting dan diharapkan selalu terjadi kaitan dengan itu. Sehingga akan ada kemampuan-kemampuan itu. Jadi sepertinya tantangan mengajar dengan teknologi itu siapapun itu ini harus melakukan itu, merasakan itu dan menjadi suatu kemampuan baru yang bisa dilakukan. Baik, berikutnya. Ya, nah, ini hasil penelitian. Ini adalah hasil dari kemarin kaitannya dengan ada orasi ilmiah kaitannya dengan pengukuhan guru besar. Ini kami sampaikan pula di sini untuk membantu kita di dalam melihat bagaimana apa yang sudah terjadi. Nah, ada 4 hal di sini tentang aspek konstruktivistis dan HOTS-nya, higher order thinking skill. Bahwa belum selesai. Belum selesai, Mbak. Ya. Nah, dalam perencanaan pembelajaran yang dapat secara langsung dimuati aspek konstruktivis dan aspek HOTS adalah RPP dan LKPD. Ini menjadi kunci sebetulnya di dalam penelitian-penelitian yang bisa kita lakukan yang akan datang, bahwa kalau kita akan mencapai suatu keterampilan-keterampilan yang 6C tadi yang abad 21 tadi, itu memang harus dikemas. Bahwa perencanaan pembelajaran itu adalah juga harus HOTS. Perencanaan pembelajaran kalau di sini adalah RPP-nya. Dan LKPD-nya juga seperti itu. Kalau RPP dan LKPD-nya itu adalah tidak dikemas di dalam suatu pendekatan ini, pendekatan untuk mengukur kategori kognitif yang tingkat 3 misalnya, yaitu yang analisis, kemudian mengevaluasi, kemudian mencipta, maka ya tidak akan ada pengalaman belajar untuk siswa. Nah, hal ini menjadi hal yang perlu kita perhatikan untuk mengadakan penelitian-penelitian lanjutan. Jadi ini sudah ditemukan dalam penelitian beliau, Profesor Dr. Sri Haryani, bahwa ternyata evaluasi implementasi pelaksanaan TPS ditemukan hal ini. Nah, kita tinggal melanjutkan, misalnya kalau akan mengadakan penelitian. Nah, pengembangan model. Tentang pengembangan model, melalui pembelajaran sains, guru dapat mengembangkan berbagai model pembelajaran yang memenuhi aspek konstruktivis dengan memperhatikan MPKM. Nah, bagaimana dengan pembelajaran lainnya? Nah, ini bisa kita lakukan. Lalu bagaimana RPP yang sudah dikembangkan oleh audiens gitu, bahwa RPP masih lemah dalam pendahuluan, yaitu pada persepsi dan motivasi, dan kegiatan inti, yaitu menerapkan model pembelajaran. Nah, harapannya dengan model pembelajaran tertentu, di sana akan terjadi inovasi pembelajaran Dan akhirnya akan terjadi suatu pembelajaran yang lebih menyenangkan, lebih menantang, karena ada kebaruan-kebaruan. Lalu kesulitan mengembangkan LKPD. Calon guru kesulitan menuliskan di setiap fase dan menghubungkan antara fase sehingga peluang siswa untuk mengkonstruksi pengetahuannya kurang terlaksana dengan baik. Calon guru masih perlu pendampingan dengan serius selama ini adalah kegiatan PLP atau PPL ya, agar komponen DPACK dan HOTS dapat terintegrasi dengan baik. Mudah-mudahan hasil penelitian ini adalah menginspirasi kepada kita, khususnya adalah pada peneliti-peneliti ini. Ya, baik. Kemudian ya, terima kasih. Jadi guru ke depan itu memang harus harus siap dan harus berpikir ulang dan harus melupakan kekurangan-kekurangan apa yang kita lakukan kepada siswa dan selalu mengulang untuk belajar dan merevisi apa yang sudah kita lakukan yang kurang baik, maka kegiatan refleksi itu adalah selalu dilakukan dan selalu adaptif terhadap suatu kemajuan. Terima kasih, mohon maaf ini disampaikan dalam bahasa Indonesia karena untuk keseimbangan saja, bahwa tadi di sana berbahasa asing, di sini berbahasa Indonesia, sedangkan partisipan juga sebagian besar adalah dari Indonesia. Namun nanti akan ada PPT yang berbahasa Inggris adalah jika dari hadirin ini akan menghadirkan atau menginginkan itu, terutama adalah dari peserta dari luar Indonesia. Terima kasih. Demikian, Mbak Vina, terima kasih atas bantuannya.
Terima kasih banyak Ibu Dr. Eko Purwanti. Nanti kita akan langsung melanjutkan presentasi berikutnya, Ibu. Terima kasih sudah membagikan materinya. Sebelumnya sedikit saya sampaikan kesimpulan atau the conclusion dari materi yang dibawakan oleh Ibu Dr. Eko Purwanti terkait dengan TPAC, perkembangan technological pedagogical content knowledge di era abad 21. Luar biasa sekali materi ini memberikan pemahaman khususnya kepada para calon pendidik ya, bahwa kita harus senantiasa mengembangkan pengetahuan kita, knowledge kita, especially yang berkaitan dengan the 21st century skills yang memang banyak sekali mengedepankan literasi digital dan penggunaan digital untuk mendukung pembelajaran. And some conclusion that I've been made is the TPAC means knowledge of the use of appropriate technology in the appropriate pedagogy to teach a content well, especially to develop the 21st century skills. And actually the point that I have to share is about tomorrow, the teacher must be prepared to rethink and unlearn and relearn, to change and rephrase, adopt, to make the education in more and more modern. And even there are many challenges when we have to learn and teach with technology, such there are difficulties, stigma that maybe it's not difficulty, maybe it's just terbiasa atau tidak terbiasa. And the other challenge is about the asynchronous communication and also the contextual and social factor. That is the conclusion of Dr. Eko Purwanti materi. Terima kasih sekali Ibu.
Terima kasih Mbak Vina.
Sesi diskusi Ibu. Dan selanjutnya, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the next session of panel presentation that will be delivered by Ibu Dr. Siti Nuzulia MSI. To Dr. Nuzulia, have you joined with us? Yeah.
We have changed speaker for the next speaker.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. For the next speakers is Dr. Farid Ahmadi. He is okay. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. After this, we will have the session panel with Dr. Farid Ahmadi, MCom PhD. He is the Vice Dean of Academic in Faculty of Education, and he will present the mastery about the implementation of e-learning in Indonesia. Dr. Farid Ahmadi, please, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Farid Ahmadi. I'm the one of a lecturer in Primary Teacher Education Department, Universitas Negeri Semarang. And today I would like to share with you about how's implementation of learning management system or LMS and electronic learning, especially in Indonesia. And I would like to give example from Universitas Negeri Semarang, as we know that Universitas Negeri Semarang have one platform of e-learning that we call Elena. And next, please. Yeah, before I talking more about e-learning in Universitas Negeri Semarang, especially in Indonesia, I would like to say with you that the meaning of LMS, and LMS is defined of learning with a learning management system. You can try to create learning management, a single source of online course and training material, and also M management. You can manage course and learning and even improve your own efficiency. And for lecture and for student, we can manage our online learning by LMS. And for system, computer system also, and to be LMS automatic, the most boring and tedious work, such as creating, processing, status analytics, and then we can prepare our learning online. And using LMS, we can try to make online learning more than before. And we know that several platforms of LMS we can find. We have like Google Classroom, and we also have like Moodle, for example, like that. And next. Yeah, in my picture, we can see that there are several platforms of LMS software, and the best of LMS software using Moodle. And then the second one, Edmodo. And Moodle is the one of platform software for develop the online course, something like that. And Universitas Negeri Semarang also develop this program using Moodle, something like that. And we can see in the picture, it's a lot of platform of LMS software. And especially in our university, we using Moodle to develop our electronic learning, like Elena, for example, like that. And then next. So what the definition of e-learning? I think all of a teacher in the world, or all of teacher in Indonesia, already using e-learning for online classroom, and electronic media used for various learning purpose, ranging from conventional classroom and on function the online submission for the face-to-face meeting with online encounter. So for in pandemic era, we also have e-learning for support our teaching every day, every week, something like that. And next. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to implementation learning management system in Universitas Negeri Semarang, because all of these participants webinar today, we have participants from Taiwan students, and maybe for UNES student more familiar with Elena. But for Taiwan student, I think this is the new information for you to to using one of e-learning in the world. So in Universitas Negeri Semarang have Elena, and to access Elena, we should join in apps UNES AC ID. And next. Yeah. All right. So after we try to open the website UNES AC ID, apps unes.unes.ac.id, it's used by lecturer and student in UNES to conduct online learning. The address of www.apps.unes.ac.id, which can be accessed by any internet network anywhere, and also we can use Chrome or Opera, and we can use all of browser platform to access this website. And next. Yeah, first, I would like to inform you that Elena is one of many websites in UNES. It's included in the academic application, and there are like Sikadu, Citedi, and so on, which has the function. Elena itself has many functions that generally facilitating in the online learning. So for student and lecturer, all of us using Elena to support our learning every day. And after click Elena, we will be directed to welcoming page. This is the welcoming page, and click the active semester or the decide semester, because it consists at the last 3 semesters. Before we are using Elena, all of the content, we should click active semester or the decide semester, because it consists of the last 3 semesters, something like that. And then after we click next, yeah, here we need to click the button of continue and just click continue, click untuk melanjutkan, or click to continue to continue the teaching in the classroom of Elena. So this is the dashboard of Elena. And here we can see that a course list is of the selected semester, and in the top right corner of the page, there is user or account information. As you can see in the screen that in the top right corner of the page, and there is user or account information, and in the center there is the most open course. After that, we can also scroll down, and we can see that the course overview. So there are several courses in the selected semester, and we can select one of which is decided to open to be open each material, and click that course. You can click the one of the name of your course, and then after that, next. Yeah, this is just the example if we can choose the one of course, and I try to choose my course. Usually I have one material about the literacy digital, and here we can see full appearance of my course, and there are course description, references, a lesson plan, like assessment, topic, discussion, and then we also have quiz and other learning activities in our Elena, something like that. Next, yeah, I choose the one of my course, literacy digital, and in the initial part of our course, there are some basic course description that consists of lesson plan. For make our content based on lesson plan, learning outcome, course scope, and learning instruction in our RPS, something like that. So for each lecturer can use this Elena to support our teaching especially in pandemic era like that. Next, there are some. Yeah, this is just the sample of description of the concept of lesson plan and learning outcome, like course scope and learning instruction we often call RPS. In each semester, every lecturer make RPS to support our teaching and try to explain for students about what is our lesson plan, what is our topic in each meeting, something like that. So there are topic next. Yeah, there are topic of the course, and usually we have many topics which we're learning in 16 weeks, and greeting from the lecturer, learning material. Usually I make assessment and quiz in my Elena, and here a lecturer can design to learning based on the needs to achieve the learning outcome, and student can also involve in design and how the course will be carried out. The student can also submit or post something to respond the comment from the lecturer. For example, in content of discussion, the student can submit and also can post something to respond the comment from our lecturer in each course in one semester, something like that. And then there are many activities. Next. And there are many activities that can be used besides what have been mentioned before, and the lecturer can create the attendance list, like create a discussion forum, to do a survey, and or also create a synchronized teaching in our Elena, like a Zoom meeting and Google Meet link, and we can also set the link of Zoom in our Elena. And this is the one point of our Elena, and I think this is the good point for synchronized meeting in each semester in our course, something like that. And also this is the one of opportunity using Elena to support our learning. Next. And also in course management, yeah, in course management, we can see question bank, like a batch, course management tool, report, and student information. Here we can see that a lecturer can import and export a set of our course. For example, if one of lecturer would like to check the activity completion and grouping the student and many others activities, we can try to set in our Elena. And also, I think all of lecturer and all of students in Universitas Negeri Semarang more familiar with this content in Elena, because our rector, through our dean also suggests for all of lecturers for 100% using Elena to support our teaching. And then next. Yeah, sorry. Okay, because in the different role running in the lecture and student have the different Elena operation, I think that there are two. This is the sample of our learning management system in our country, and also I have one. What is it? One PPT or other PPT to introduce my our team product that's called MOOC, and I try to share screen. Wait a moment, and then wait a moment. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen, for this moment and for this wonderful webinar today, I would like to introduce and to explain with all of audience here that Faculty of Education this year, we have one special team and one wonderful team to develop our massive open online course in 2021, and we call FIP UNES MOOC 2021, and I try to give applause and very thank you for all our team, and we have Dr. Eko Purwanti, Dr. Nuzulia, Bu EM, and also Zara as a good student have already always helped us to develop this program. And I would like to explain with you that FIP UNES MOOC 2021, we have one subject or one course that called Technopreneurship, and this is the welcoming page for class technopreneur.com, and also we have two versions by Bahasa Indonesia, and also we have English version to access the website. And this is just the welcoming page, and you can access in your browser www.classtechnopreneurship.com, and after that we can see the welcoming page like in the screen. And then before we can continue to access all of content and all of facilities in our MOOC, you should registration here. And if you forgot your username or password, you can click in your browser. And then if you are the first time here, the first one you can you should registration before. And using your ID student or using your ID lecturer, you can also registration for this website. And after successfully to registration, we can know about the report of our participants like that. And then usually like maybe it's similar with Elena, we also can additional content and additional course in our MOOC program like that. And also a lot of facilities we have developed this program, and also maybe same with Elena. Yeah, quite same with Elena in each semester, in each meeting, we can also add of many content in this program, one by one for each meeting in all of the whole is 16 meeting until the end of semester. And then thank you very much for this introduction. And this is just introduction for our implementation e-learning in our university, especially in Faculty of Education. And this is the wonderful program, I think, and successfully program, because the one of IKU in our university, we have one target to implementation MOOC in each faculty, and also Faculty of Education successfully to develop this program, and also to increase our faculty rank in Universitas Negeri Semarang. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Farid Ahmadi, that have been share with us the material about the LMS or Learning Management System that used in Indonesia, especially in Faculty of Education, Universitas Negeri Semarang. And a little bit of the conclusion that I can got from the Dr. Farid presentation is actually LMS or Learning Management System is the software application that used to develop the learning program in Faculty of Education, Universitas Negeri Semarang. Actually, there are many of LMS, but we use Elena, and the new one that we launched about is the special MOOC that developed by Faculty of Education. Okay, and maybe we next we move to the next parallel session. And the parallel session and the third parallel session will be delivered by Mrs. Dr. Siti Nuzulia. Have you joined with us, ma'am?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and Dr. Siti Nuzulia would like to present the material about the personality traits in e-learning scenario. Okay, Dr. Siti Nuzulia, the time is yours.
Thank you, but all fine. What should I call you? Fine or all fine?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, all. It's nice to see you in this morning, even only in virtual room. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope you are always stay healthy and happy. Thank you for the former speakers. Professor Gary Shi from National Chung Cheng University, Dr. Farid Ahmadi, and Dr. Eka Purwanti. It's an honor for me to sit in a same forum with you. And I'd like to Wait a second. The presentation is ready yet. Okay. And I'd like to open this discussion with a story because everybody likes story. Could you please next, Sarah? Once upon a time in a classroom, yeah, I'm like a storyteller right now. There were two handsome male students. Why males? Because I'm a female, of course. Their name was Siwon and Dimash. Siwon was very confident person. He is so talkative and he always takes part in every discussion in class. While Dimash, he is very quiet boy. He is very closed and only talk occasionally. And he seems just absent-minded or ngalamun during the class. He just staring at his laptop during class. Yes, he just read the references books and seems not pay attention at all to the teacher. Finally,
Ada ngelamun di artis Korea.
Finally, after studying for a semester, the day of the final exam arrives. The teachers was shocked when read the Dimash result. Dimash, who always looks so quiet and shy before have a very bright answer. He collaborated all of the theory from the teacher in a very good way. He is wonderful in critical thinking and he able to elaborate his thinking in a clever way. And the silent boy finally has got the highest mark for his final exam compared to other students. Well, it can be happen. Next. Let's read the quote here. There are three kinds of men. The one that learns by reading, the few who learn by observation, and the rest of them have to pee on the electric fence for themselves. Maybe this is a little bit sarcasm, but I just want to describe the condition of the people are different. There are a lot of individual differences in this world. So this is all about learning style and personality. And learning style and personality are important aspects in learning, especially e-learning. Next. Yeah. A learning education is an instructional delivery system that allows students to participate in an educational opportunity without being physically present in the same location as the instructor. The rapid growth in the number of e-learning courses and programs has had a profound impact on the ideas and beliefs about teaching and learning. The use of the internet with web-based coursework has become a core method of instruction in higher education. The increasing number of students enrolled, the course offerings, and the availability of e-learning opportunities all speak about the importance of this method of instruction. E-learning programs appear to have the power to change the education landscape. E-learning provides the ability to share material in all kinds of formats, such as videos, slideshows, Word document, or PPT, or maybe PDFs. It reduces the cost associated with education. E-learning also helps in skill acquisition and aim to build a better educated generation. While technological innovation is necessary to the development of e-learning programs, it is not sufficient to assure that program is effective. Students have different learning styles based on their personality traits. Some students may learn best by watching and listening, others by reading, and others by doing and moving, or maybe by hands-on environment. Personality style means an individual preferences across contexts that consists of their attitude, feelings, action, and emotion. Personality traits in case of e-learning have a significant influence on the individual preference of learning. Therefore, it is important to consider students' learning styles while developing an e-learning program. So, in today's opportunity, I'd like to discuss with you about the relationship between personality traits and learning styles among students in an e-learning scenario. Next, please. Yeah, there are a lot of theory of personality, but I'd like to emphasize on Myers-Briggs type of personality, which is consists of 4 variation of 8 dichotomous traits, which are next, please. Extroversion versus introversion, sensing versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, judging versus perceiving. So all of you here, you have the combination of these 8 traits, 8 preferences. So maybe you dominant in extroversion, sensing, thinking, or judging, but some of you may be dominant in introversion, intuition, feeling, and perceiving. Let me start with extroversion. Extroversion concentrate on the outer world. Please, next. Gets their inspiration from other individuals and by getting things done. Meanwhile, introverts concentrate on the internal world, gets their inspiration from thoughts, data, and ideas. Introverts are reflective students who want to use their subjective vitality emerging from their internal identity, emotion, and recognition, while extroverts are learning toward cooperation with an external world. They are present as dynamic students. This mirror the perceptual introduction of the person. The introverted person is shy and withdrawn, shy, yeah, but not really shy, not literally shy, I mean, likes a quiet environment for concentration, dislike interruptions, and is content to work alone. The extroverted person is outgoing, sometimes aggressive, like variety, likes to function in a social environment, and often acts quickly without thinking and may dominate situation or people. These 2 basic personality patterns affect the way people gather information, make decisions, and evaluate alternatives during problem solving. Individuals who are of the sensing type chooses a view of certainties and trust, tangible current actualities, figures, and subtle elements. Individuals who are intuitive chooses to consider instinct, connections, and theories. The one leaning towards sensing will get data using every 5 senses, and they are focused on actualities from a circumstance. Intuitive types dislike doing the same thing repeatedly. They enjoy learning new skills. They may lead to a conclusion quickly and often follow their inspiration and hunch. They are more innovative and imaginative. Individuals with a sensing type of personality depend on that which can be seen and are thought to be arranged toward the which is genuine, whereas individuals with an intuitive style depend more on their irregular and oblivious perceptual procedures. Thinking personality types always have logic behind the things they do. They try to analyze the cause and its effect, then only decide, and their decisions are objective oriented and contain little feeling. Feeling personality types always make decisions based on the feeling of others and their own feelings. They always try to satisfy others. They were more related to subjects. They decided based on their strong beliefs. And thinking types excel at putting things in logical order, respond more to people ideas than feeling, need to be treated fairly, and tend to be firm and tough-minded. Feeling types like something like a harmony, respond to individuals' values and feelings, as well as their thoughts, tend to be sympathetic and enjoy pleasing people. And judging personality types always have a plan for their work. They do everything in a well-planned manner. They dislike interpreting their projects and tasks and use lists as agendas. They are more organized than others and always have a judgmental character. But perceiving personality types always need a spontaneous, flexible environment. Perceiving types adapt well to changing situations and do not mind last-minute changes. They may begin many projects by experience and have difficulty in finishing them, or may postpone unpleasant tasks, the tasks they don't need to do. They extend the opinion as long as possible. They always have a flexible and spontaneous approach. Individuals settle on choices and judge likewise by using two distinctive ways. Those leaning toward emotions like perceiving and others as judging, sort by the significance, and they evaluate the target reality as per their solid concepts. The empirical research reveals, please continue, that the personality traits, particularly in case of e-learning, have a significant influence on the individual preference of learning or learning style. Using learning style from Felder, who divided learning style by 4 different styles, which is, please continue, active and reflective, sensing and intuitive, visual and verbal, and sequential versus global. So according to Fedler, there are 4 different types of learning. I'd like to explain about the first learning style, which is active and reflective learning. The active type is dynamic in different fields, favors an incredible number of exercise. It is inclined toward working in a gathering, is amiable, and has a great deal of companions. The reflective people use thinking during the time spent on learning. They mirror their thoughts and pictures, lean towards working alone. Active students incline toward getting things done in gatherings. They work better alone, with time to consider the assignment before doing it. Meanwhile, reflective students like realities, information, and experimentation, and function with detail. Sensing students incline toward thoughts and hypotheses when they can get a handle on new thoughts and advancement. Sensing learners like actualities, information, and experimentation, and function with detail. Meanwhile, intuiting students favor thoughts and hypotheses when they can get handle on new thoughts and development. The sensing learning style student lean towards sensing things while learning. They are great in recalling things by using lower thinking forms. They tackle issues by standard strategies. They don't care for shocks and surprising. They are tolerant while working with points of interest, cautious while expounding an issue on the opposite side. They incline toward unbending nature, certain generalization in considering. They control their work, and because they lean towards common sense in a learning process, and in intuitive learning style, students depend the most on instinct and creative energy. The learner use disparate reasoning that is snappy while taking care of issues and is less watchful on and patient. Meanwhile, verbal learners, like to get information and take part in discussion when they can talk and hear their own words. Visual students like words, pictures, image, stream graphs, outlines, and perusing books. The visual learning style students are inclined towards data exhibited as diagrams, outlines, maps, graphs, tables. And the verbal learners are inclined toward the content itself. They recall the best when they hear it. In the sequential learning style, the student thinks through intelligent groupings. The sequential learning style type learner studies proportionally, sequentially, through small steps related in logical sequences. These learner types prefer convergent thinking using basic thinking operation like analysis or synthesis. And meanwhile, the global learning style type learner, or also labeled as holistic type learner, studies globally. They absorb the material accidentally without looking for mutual interrelation. The study materials is learned more or less intuitively, and a learner is not able to explain the way they solve a task. This learner needs to see a problem first of all as a part of whole context. Then they can understand and apply it into practice. Studies note some evidence. Please, next. An extrovert personality will have an active learning style, while an introvert personality will have a reflective learning style. A sensing personality will have a sensing learning style, while an intuitive personality will have an intuitive learning style. A thinking personality will have a verbal learning style, while a willing personality will have a visual learning style. So this conclusion come from a lot of studies. And the last is judging personality will have a sequential learning style, while a perceiving personality will have a global learning style. So, next, please. What is the implication of personality and learning style for e-learning? A suggestion for some research for e-learning method and innovation is to consider the individual differences. For example, for extrovert learners who prefer active learning, the e-learning facilitator can focus to provide content in multiple formats. This can be accomplished through the use of various communication techniques. Lectures can be audio streamed and synchronized with the applicable PowerPoint presentation. These lectures can be transcribed and posted in the course. Content can also be presented through chat room discussion groups where students are required to share and discuss information with each other, which active learners will enjoy. For introvert learners who have reflective learning styles, the facilitator can allow for individual locus of control where all courses provide various means of navigation. Content can be accessed through links or a graphical organizer. Students should be able to access course material in several ways. The course can be built and presented in a hierarchical sequence, but students should be able to move through the course topics in random order. To encourage active and collaborative interaction among the students, each course should be designed with activities that are both individual and group-based. Within virtual teams, students can work together to solve problems, analyze cases, and develop develop group deliverables. These assignments allow individual ideas, perspective, and experiences to be heard and collectively considered. The idea of agreeing to disagree can be taught through this experience. So this is an important thing, agreeing to disagree. And then small group discussion during synchronous sessions can be very effective for active and verbal learners. Few e-learning programs rely on synchronous sessions, but synchronous sessions can provide powerful opportunities for student interaction. These sessions can be provided weekly, in which the instructor performs a live audio broadcast to the students over the web, while the students interact with the instructor and the other students in a group chat space. Although this in itself encourages active learning, incorporating small group interaction into the large group discussion can further enhance learning. This is accomplishment by having the instructor describe a discussion activity to the class and then asking them to enter their private virtual team like a virtual team chat space to discuss and complete the assignment. A specific time is given when the students are expected to return to the class chat space and discuss their findings with the rest of the class. This technique is commonly used in many face-to-face classes, but it is underused in an e-learning environment. For visual learners, maybe virtual field trips and videos can have a huge impact. And an alternative to bringing an online lecturer might be for the class to go on a virtual field trip. And it is suggested that students be sent to websites that take them to places of interest relevant to the course. And then providing students with virtual trips will allow students to be able to comprehend what they are learning in comprehension level and apply what they have learned in new ways in application level. Students learn and the speed comfortably to them, and this affords them with more opportunities to feel in control. They take personal responsibility as active learners for the analysis and synthesis of the information with what they have already learned. By having an insight into the personality and learning styles of students, the facilitators can design the courses to enhance learning engagement in an e-learning scenario. Once again, the effectiveness of e-learning courses can be improved by providing instruction in a manner consistent with each student's learning style according to their personality traits. Next, please. I will end this presentation with a quote again. Every student can learn, just not on the same day or the same way. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward for the next discussion.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Dr. Siti Nuzulia, who have been present. I think we should wait for a minute because in here still azan Dhuhri. Or maybe we can just continue, ma'am, actually. Okay, and as the conclusion in Dr. Siti Nuzulia presentation, actually, we know that we learned together about the personality traits in an e-learning scenario, as we know that actually we as a teacher, we have to know about the personality because we know that there are differences personality between one student and the other students. And actually the differences in styles of the human personality itself will give the difference in styles of learning. And for that problem, we have to make the practice with the different traits of the personality by learning styles, especially for the extrovert personality. We'll have the active and learning style, and when we have the thinking personality, maybe we will have a verbal learning style and the others. Okay, I think that is all for the presentation session, and after that we will move to the discussion. Sorry sir, do we need the waiting for the azan zuhri, or we just do the discussion immediately?
Maybe we can break, and after adhan, you can continue.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and we will move to the next session is the discussion Q&A session with the panel presentation and panel speakers. We have here Dr. Eko Purwanti, Dr. Siti Nuzulia, and Dr. Farid Ahmadi who have been presented their presentation. And for the first question, actually, we have question from Dr. Liftia. Dr. Lifty, maybe you can just unmute yourself, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bahasa Indonesia aja boleh ya, biar cepat soalnya. Boleh nggak?
Yes, tentu saja Ibu, sangat boleh. Silahkan.
Oke. Ya, sangat menarik nih presentasi dari tadi pagi, walaupun saya agak ada yang skip gitu. Tapi terus yang terakhir ini ya insightful ini dari Bulia ya. Ya memang kepribadian sangat berpengaruh terhadap achievement, itu saya sangat setuju ya. Cuman bagaimana yang nanti saya akan tanyakan, bagaimana implikasinya terhadap kita ketika building learning gitu, mengembangkan pembelajaran itu. Yang pertama, satu, bagaimana caranya kita tahu seperti apa atau personality dari siswa kita. Kalau yang dari psikologi mungkin ya sudah agak-agak ngerti lah gitu. Tapi mungkin adakah cara yang lebih simple untuk mungkin yang berada pengajar yang di luar psikologi atau kurang mengenal karakteristik personality dari siswa itu. Kemudian satu itu. Terus yang kedua adalah bagaimana implementasi, bagaimana kita mengembangkan pembelajaran yang mempertimbangkan personality itu, ya, karena kan kita mempunyai sekian ratus, mungkin dalam satu kelas mungkin sekian puluh orang siswa. Bagaimana kita bisa mempertimbangkan personality dari siswa kita itu untuk memberikan model pembelajaran gitu. Terus tambah lagi di samping itu kan misalnya karakteristik mata kuliah,
mahasiswa PPS,
misalnya statistik itu kalau kita small discussion atau apa itu ya bisa, tapi mungkin agak ini nanti capaian kita 16 kali pertemuan, apakah itu nanti bisa gitu untuk antara target mata kuliah yang harus kita sajikan dengan itu. Mungkin ada shortcut tertentu berdasarkan pengalaman, mungkin itu bisa diinformasikan kepada kami. Terus ya apa lagi ya tadi yang ketiga, aduh kok lupa. Nah sementara itu dulu, nanti kalau lain yang jelas saya setuju bahwa personality itu mempengaruhi achievement. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Ibu Dr. Siti Nuzulia atas pertanyaannya yang luar biasa. Kemudian saya akan membacakan pertanyaan yang lain yang ada di kolom chat. Oh, ada pertanyaan dari... Oh, sudah sangat banyak ya ternyata di kolom chat. Di sini ada pertanyaan dari Injelin Narsita. Apakah yang bersangkutan masih bergabung dengan kami?
Iya Mbak, masih bergabung.
Silakan bertanya langsung saja, Nji. Kebetulan ini bersama pembicara yang luar biasa.
Iya Mbak, yang mau saya tanyakan, bagaimana strategi yang dapat dilakukan oleh guru sekolah dasar dalam menyampaikan pembelajaran secara daring dengan pendekatan TIPEC agar pembelajaran efektif dan efisien? Jadi bagaimana apa yang harus dipersiapkan guru itu, langkah-langkahnya supaya dalam memberikan pembelajaran secara daring itu menggunakan pendekatan TIPEC itu bisa efektif dan efisien. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Kak Injelin dari S2 Pendas. Selanjutnya satu penanya lagi ya yang akan saya tanyakan. Dari Fitra Desi Nuken. Are you still here, Mr. or Mrs. Fitra Desi? Are you still joined with us?
Vina, maybe because we have limited time, maybe enough to read in question in the chat room.
Okay,
Yeah.
And the question is to Dr. Nuzulia. We are now in a pandemic education ecosystem. So the learning system are mandatory, not voluntary. Is it matter if we analyze the personality of the students? Baik, itu 3 pertanyaan yang disampaikan oleh para peserta. Mungkin akan dijawab oleh Ibu Dr. Nuzulia terlebih dahulu. Bagaimana Ibu?
Iya Mbak Vina.
Ya.
Should I use English or bahasa?
Actually, we can use both of this. Bilingual is okay.
Okay. I will use bahasa then.
Yes.
Yeah. So, mix.
Okay.
For the first question from Ibu Livia, how have you been, Bu Livia? I hope you stay healthy and happy. Congratulations, by the way, for your doctorate degree. Okay. Wait a second. Bolivia asked about how the personality in for the psychological department, it is common to assess personality, but how about the department outside the psychology? Bagaimana dengan departemen di luar psikologi yang tidak pernah belajar tentang personality? Kemudian how the implementation of e-learning which consider about the personality, bagaimana implementasi pembelajaran dengan mempertimbangkan personality dan bagaimana untuk mata kuliah tertentu such as statistik untuk membuat model pembelajaran e-learning yang lebih efektif. Saya pikir ini hampir sama dengan pertanyaannya Mbak Fitra Desi. Halo Mbak Desi, she is also my old friend. So it is nice to meeting you here. Bagaimana caranya? Memang tidak mungkin kita menganalisis satu persatu mahasiswa atau student kita. Ya, untuk guru misalnya di SD, SMP, SMA ataupun mahasiswa tidak mungkin kita menganalisis kepribadian mahasiswa satu persatu dan tidak mungkin kita menuruti kepribadian mereka satu persatu. Di sini saya menggunakan framework MBTI, Myers-Briggs type of indicator. Jadi di dalam MBTI itu terdapat 8 sifat kepribadian ya yang sudah saya jelaskan tadi. Ada introversion, extraversion, dan kemudian sensing, intuition, thinking, feeling, judging, and perceiving. Semua orang itu memiliki salah 4 dari 8 kepribadian tadi. Kalau nggak extrovert ya introvert, kalau nggak sensing, intuition, kalau nggak thinking, feeling, kalau nggak judging, perceiving. Ya, dan kemudian orang menurut Fielder Silverman yang saya jelaskan tadi memiliki 4 macam learning styles yang berbeda. Nah, inilah yang akan kita pakai untuk menjembatani, memahami individual differences di dalam ruang kelas. Tidak mungkin kita akan mengetes mereka semuanya, tetapi kita akan melihat secara garis besar menggunakan salah satu teori kepribadian. Kalau dalam hal ini saya menjelaskan MBTI, it means that I will use MBTI to understand my students. So I will consider that my student have 8 different personalities. Saya akan mempertimbangkan bahwa student saya memiliki 8 kepribadian yang berbeda plus ada 4 learning style. Nah, itu yang saya pakai ya. Itu yang akan kita pakai. Jadi tidak perlu kita satu persatu tahu individu personality seseorang, tapi sudah ada teori yang menyatakan hal tersebut, itulah yang kita pakai. Tadi saya sempat menyinggung bahwa untuk orang-orang ekstrovert yang mereka selalu talkative, cerewet, pengen diskusi dan lain sebagainya, kita bisa menggunakan cara belajar yang beragam ya. menyediakan konten dalam multiple formats ya. Jadi formatnya bermacam-macam yang disediakan. Tidak hanya presentasi dengan menggunakan PowerPoint, tapi juga bisa dengan apa namanya komunikasi, teknik komunikasi yang bervariasi. Misalnya audio stream, kemudian apa namanya discussion di room chat ya, atau yang akhir-akhir ini saya lakukan ya untuk mengakomodasi siswa yang ekstrovert, saya menggunakan jigsaw learning. Jigsaw learning adalah ketika seseorang belajar menjadi guru untuk mereka. Ya, sementara bagaimana untuk orang-orang introvert, kita bisa menggunakan hal yang lain. Misalnya ada reflective learning gitu ya. Jadi mereka disuruh membuat tugas merefleksi. Tidak hanya orang introvert saja yang suruh bikin, tapi si anak-anak ekstrovert juga disuruh bikin. Jadi semuanya sama rata. Sehingga akhirnya terjadi keseimbangan antara saya suka dengan metode ini tapi saya tidak suka dengan metode ini. Nah, akhirnya kombinasi dari gabungan metode-metode tadi akan menghasilkan performansi yang maksimal. Kemudian ada juga sekarang banyak fitur-fitur yang bisa digunakan, misalnya mentimeter.com misalnya ya, untuk menanyakan pendapat atau mengukur sesuatu tanpa harus seseorang itu bersuara atau menunjukkan dirinya, hanya tinggal menulis aja. Itu untuk mengakomodasi orang-orang yang mungkin agak tertutup dan sejenisnya. Kemudian untuk orang-orang dengan tipe-tipe yang lain, misalnya tipe sensing, kemudian tipe kepribadian perceiving, ya, yang mereka menuntut sesuatu yang tangible, sesuatu yang harus terlihat gitu ya. Kita bisa sebagai fasilitator e-learning platform bisa menyediakan bentuk-bentuk yang bisa mereka lihat seperti grafik, kemudian grafik, apalagi selain grafik ada virtual gambar-gambar dan lain sebagainya. Jadi kita tahu bahwa ada perbedaan, ada individual differences, dan kita tahu ada learning style yang berbeda-beda, sehingga kita bisa mengaplikasikan berbagai macam cara untuk mengakomodasi berbagai macam variasi personality types dari student kita. Ya, memang mungkin si A tidak suka, tapi si B suka. Begitu juga sebaliknya. Ya, saling menutupi, saling melengkapi. Jadi karena tidak mungkin kita mengcustom sendiri kelas kita sesuai dengan personality student kita masing-masing. Itu jawaban dari pertanyaan Bu Liftiah, dan sekaligus menurut saya juga menjawab pertanyaan Bu Fitra Desi Nuken tentang bagaimana tahu bagaimana tahu personality masing-masing orang, apakah harus dites satu persatu, enggak. Jadi sudah ada gambaran, sudah ada teori, kita tinggal mengimplementasikan, si A, si B, si C punya cara belajar yang berbeda, sehingga variasi sumber belajar, variasi penyampaian belajar itu sangat diperlukan dalam e-learning ataupun platform MOOC yang sedang dikembangkan. Gitu Mbak Vina, terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Ibu Dr. Siti Nuzulia atas jawaban dari pertanyaannya. Bagaimana Ibu Lifti sekaligus Ibu Desi? Sepertinya sudah cukup jelas ya.
Ya, terima kasih.
Sami-sami Ibu. Di sini juga saya pernah Ibu sekali tes MBTI, ternyata sekarang banyak ya untuk mengetahui how the personality of ourselves, dan I think itu memang sangat penting Ibu, khususnya mengetahui love language. Untuk mengetahui ternyata bisa dari tes personality itu ya Ibu ya. Baik, selanjutnya saya akan membacakan menjawab pertanyaan. Mohon maaf, saya akan membacakan pertanyaan dari Brandon. Sebentar. Dari Brandon Elvia, pertanyaannya, Mr. Farid PhD, untuk Dr. Farid, how to deliver the meaningful learning in e-learning in schools? Mungkin Bapak Farid Ahmadi akan langsung menjawab pertanyaan dari Mr. Brandon ya.
Oke, Mbak Vina. I saw in the chat room there are two questions have similarity, and Brandon, Elvia, and Ellie, Ellie, the same question for me, that how to deliver meaningful learning in e-learning in school, something like that. So based on our research and our colleague research, that there are 5 knowledge that we can improve our learning, for example, and especially for deliver meaningful learning in our classroom. And then in the first knowledge is about the teacher can be good attitude and teaching style. For example, if the teacher have fashion style, behavior, and also language style more better than before, I think that's the point to improve meaningful learning in our teaching. And also teacher can submission of can deliver the subject material and to be a clear and structured manner according the lesson plan. I think that if all of a teacher deliver in clear and structured manner according to the lesson plan, I think that's the point to how to deliver meaningful learning in our classroom. So the another things that use of teaching strategies and methodology of teaching is very important to realize the meaningful learning. For example, use learning strategy according to 21st century skills. That's the example to realize the meaningful learning. And then for another thing, we can use learning media, something like that. If the teachers use IT-based learning media such as LMS, and also we have interesting to develop the multimedia to the account to convey the material more clearly, I think that's very important to deliver meaningful learning. And the last one, we also can linking the previous material before and also making student knowledge increase the even more. That, for example, if today we have teaching about the process of circulation blood, something like that, and then we can linking the previous material before and also making student knowledge increase even more about this material. That's the 5 points to make our learning to be a meaningful, and for example in our school such as primary school and also kindergarten schools. Maybe like that enough for our explanation. Thank you, Mbak Vina, and thank you for the question for Brandon and Ellie. See you in another webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farid.
Thank you very much. And that is the answer from Dr. Farid Ahmadi to Mr. Brandon and Mrs. Ellie. And we also have the question for Mrs. Dr. Eko Purwanti, bagaimana strategi yang dapat dilakukan oleh guru sekolah dasar dalam menyampaikan pembelajaran secara daring dengan pendekatan TIPEC ya? Silakan Ibu Dr. Eko.
Iya. Terima kasih Mbak Vina. Baik, terima kasih pada Saudara Angelin Narsita, mahasiswa S2 Pendidikan Dasar. Baik, tentunya itu dimulai dari persiapan. Jadi bagaimana strategi yang dapat dilakukan oleh guru sekolah dasar dalam menyampaikan pembelajaran secara daring dengan pendekatan TIPEC agar pembelajaran efektif dan efisien, maka persiapan dilakukan. Persiapan di sini maksudnya adalah mari kita perhatikan unsur-unsur pembentuk TIPEC itu sendiri. Jadi ada teknologi knowledge. Jadi pengetahuan tentang teknologi ini harus dilakukan, harus ada internalisasi. Siapa saja? Itu adalah semua unsur. Untuk sekolah dasar adalah ada guru, ada siswa, kemudian wali murid. Ya, ini perlu dilakukan. Kemudian untuk guru khususnya, pedagogi knowledge ini harus dikembangkan, tentunya menggunakan pendekatan-pendekatan pembelajaran yang sesuai dengan kondisi peserta didik, yaitu untuk anak-anak sekolah dasar, bagaimana untuk karakteristik anak-anak sekolah dasar untuk kelas awal dan bagaimana dengan kelas tinggi. Kemudian juga unsur yang ketiga, ini adalah content knowledge-nya. Jadi isi daripada materi pembelajaran ini menjadi penting untuk dikembangkan secara utuh. Yang terjadi adalah kecenderungan bahwa pembelajaran di sekolah itu ada kegiatan-kegiatan yang harusnya ada internalisasi pengalaman, namun terlompati atau ditinggalkan. Misalnya seperti menggunakan metode drill misalnya. Drill itu kan tindak lanjut. Setelah ada penanaman konsep yang mendalam dan luas, kemudian setelah itu ada praktek, baru latihan. Nah, ini tiba-tiba latihan misalnya. Nah, di situ berarti content knowledge-nya ini perlu refleksi, perlu direfleksi bahwa perlu ada pengembangan ke sana. Lalu unsur yang keempat, teknologi pedagogical knowledge. Ya, jadi pengertian atau pengetahuan tentang bagaimana ilmu-ilmu pedagogi yang mendukung atau mendorong pemilihan suatu teknologi. Ini persiapan yang harus dilakukan. Jadi TIPEK itu juga kita runut bagaimana unsur-unsur pembentuknya. Tidak bisa tiba-tiba kita membuat suatu inovasi pembelajaran, namun tidak melihat bagaimana unsur-unsur pembentuknya, seperti yang 4 hal tadi. Sehingga dalam kegiatan ini, TIPEK ini, semua unsur terlibat, tadi sudah kami sampaikan, dan pelaksanaannya adalah disatukan di dalam kegiatan mulai dari perencanaan pembelajarannya, pelaksanaan pembelajarannya, dan evaluasi pembelajaran. Tentunya di dalam pelaksanaan pembelajaran ini, pendekatan TIPEK ini bisa disatukan dengan model pembelajaran yang memberikan suatu pengalaman-pengalaman luas terhadap kegiatan pembelajaran di sekolah. Itu pokok-pokok pikiran yang bisa disampaikan. Saudara Angelin, Arsita, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Bu Eko.
Iya, sami-sami, Seng Erlin.
Terima kasih banyak Ibu Dr. Eko Purwanti MPD yang sudah menjawab pertanyaan dari Kak Angelin bahwasanya pendekatan TIPEK harus dilaksanakan secara urut dan runtut Ibu, sehingga dalam pelaksanaannya nanti akan sesuai dalam pembelajaran. Baik, I think because the time is we have the limitation in the time, and in the chat box is there are nobody who want to ask the question anymore. I think it's enough for the question and answer session. But before that, let we hear together the closing statement from each presenter that have been join with us in the second session. Maybe the first we can hear from Mrs. Eko for the closing statement. Dr. Eko, you maybe sedikit ucapan Ibu untuk akhir sebelum kita mengakhiri kegiatan visiting professor pada siang ini mungkin.
Baik, terima kasih Mbak Vina. Closing statement-nya adalah guru harus siap untuk selalu berubah. Berubah dalam mencapai kemajuan, dalam rangka mengantarkan peserta didik ini dapat hidup pada zamannya. Dan prediksi seorang guru bagaimana siswa ini bisa survive pada zaman itu memang dilakukan berbagai hal. Tentunya kita sering membaca hasil-hasil penelitian, kita sering mencermati referensi-referensi yang ada, dan itulah bahwa hasil penelitian bisa ditindaklanjuti dengan kegiatan-kegiatan nyata. Dan calon-calon guru maupun guru-guru yang sudah aktif dalam kegiatannya itu, apa yang sudah tadi saya sampaikan di dalam penutup presentasi tadi adalah kita ini hendaknya tidak nyaman di zona aman kan begitu. Jadi teruslah berkembang, terus untuk maju dalam rangka mengantarkan anak bangsa ini supaya survive dalam zamannya. Demikian Mbak Vina, terima kasih.
Terima kasih banyak Ibu Dr. Eko Purwanti yang telah memberikan closing statement-nya. Closing statement kedua mungkin disampaikan oleh Ibu Dr. Siti Nuzulia. You can give us the closing statement for the audience.
Thank you, Mbak Vina. It's a very short closing statement. I just want to close this presentation with another quote. So, if a child cannot learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. Itu aja. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Siti Nuzulia. And the last closing statement from the wonderful speakers, the last, Dr. Farid Ahmadi.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Vina. My short statement, the final statement today, that relating according with my material today, that I suggest for all of teachers, especially in Indonesia and also in the world, to support online learning. Every teacher or lecturers must be able to mastering information technology. And I think using e-learning in deliver their learning to their student always spirit and very important to teachers and lecturers, and keep spirit for educators in Indonesia, and keep healthy and success for us and success for all of the educators in Indonesia. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. And that is all for the closing statement from all speakers. And yeah, as the conclusion for today, actually we as the educators in formal or non-formal education, we have to be ready, especially to face the challenges in education sectors. And finally, we come to the end of this event. But before that, I would like to remind you for the audiences to fill out the presentation, because we have a certificate based on the presentation itself. And maybe before that, we please open up your camera first, because we will have the photo together. Oke, wah, Mrs. Angelin ternyata cantik ya. Selamat yang Ibu. Linda, would you please help me to take?
Pak Rektor ke PGSD sekarang apa tanggal 14 nanti?
Okay, for the first slide. Okay, wow, we have so many participants that still join with us. Mr. Sukardi, Mr. Brandon, Mr. Yuli Witanto. Okay, for the first page, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Well, we have Mrs. Lilik Desmawati. Good afternoon, ma'am. Okay, for the second screen, 3, 2, 1. For the 4 and slide 5. Okay, thank you very much for all participants that have been coming in today visiting professor about implementation of e-learning in Indonesia and Taiwan. Thank you very much, especially for the wonderful speaker, Professor Gary, Dr. Eko Purwanti, Dr. Siti Nuzulia, and Dr. Farid Ahmadi that have been present the very wonderful presentation. Okay, so to close this event, let's reciting Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thank you very much for your coming and your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu atas kehadirannya, Ibu Parosia atau Bapak Parosia.
Baiklah, saya matikan dulu Pak Ibu.